It's about that time again. We have to talk about the latest episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I'll be honest with you, I was not looking forward to it until I watched this episode. And it was Melody being petty from the beginning until the very end. And honestly, I was here for it. Look, at least it wasn't about Melody and Martell and their drama, although it was something like that. But I'm here for Melody producing from the beginning to the end. And normally I hate when reality starts produce, but when a Scorpio is producing and getting their vengeance, it's actually something to watch and something to study. We're going to talk about Petty Melody, and we're going to talk about everything else that played out in this episode. And we'll briefly talk a little bit more about Stormy and the multiple lawsuits that are circulating her right now. Let's get into that. Don't forget, guys, you can hear an audio version of our live recaps and special episodes, including a special episode that I'm going to do about me going to see The Wiz on Broadway. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the Kempire podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And while you're there, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating. Let's get into this recap. Let me know where you're watching from and how you would rate this week's episode of the Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like the video, be sure to share the video, be sure to subscribe, be sure to let me know where you're watching from, be sure to let me know how you would rate this week's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And honestly, it should have been called Dr. Melody Cherie Rogers presents Love and Marriage Huntsville this week, because literally from beginning to end, she was just being so petty. I was here for it. But before we get into that, shout out to our friends over at Rose Forever. Today's live recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville is sponsored by our friends from over at Rose Forever. As you know, I just moved, so I don't have it in the studio, but I just obviously need to order another set of roses just for the studio. But I have my beautiful roses that will last me up to a year, at least a year, honestly. And I have so many other roses from Rose Forever that I have in my other home, that I've gifted to other folks, that I've given away, that are still luxurious and beautiful. Honestly, I should go ask someone that I dated a while ago. I gave them one. Look, I gave them one, and I wonder if it's still alive. Should I send them a text? But that's sort of like, hey, big head text, and I don't want to do that. Never mind. It's not worth it, right? We'll just trust and believe. Basically, the ones that I've had over a year, and they're still beautiful. Rose Forever, quality roses. They, of course, have great prices. I always tell you guys, if you compare how much you would pay at a florist for roses versus what you're getting with Rose Forever, you just can't compare. Dollar for dollar, you're saving. And they have all kinds of deals going on right now. Our referral link will be available in the description. Yes, and they are available worldwide. Worldwide shipping is available. Be sure to check out Rose Forever in the description. And thank you to Rose Forever for sponsoring today's live show. All right. Before we get into this episode, we have to talk a little bit about Stormy Steele. So we did 2 separate videos, and mods, if we can, just post those links in the live chat, because I get it. The algorithm, some of you are still not subscribed. Some of you are subscribed, and these videos are not showing up for you. Turn off your notifications, unsubscribe, subscribe back. Sometimes that helps. or make sure that you're still subscribed, because that is a thing as well. But we did 2 separate videos. The first video that we did was Kyle Ivanko, the former COO, the Chief Operating Officer of Canvas Beauty, who we have seen on Love and Marriage Huntsville, had filed a lawsuit this week. And then I found out, and Stormy, I'm sure you sent all your peoples to make sure that I saw that you also filed a lawsuit with your response. I will say, after reading both lawsuits, literally I read through the lawsuits on live with you guys. After reading through the lawsuits, it's not cut and dry. I'm not saying Kyle is innocent, and I'm not saying that Stormy is innocent. Somewhere in between, I'm sure there is the truth. But I'm kind of looking at Kyle like, did you come in with the intention of getting ownership of this business? Because even when he said that he had 30% ownership, that was their agreement, and he says he has text messages, he has bank statements that basically show the 70-30. I don't know. What I do know is that in regards to the lawsuit that Stormy filed, she only had one account against him, and that was basically saying that he does not own this business. He does not own any of the branding and things like that. We shall see. I don't know if this will actually go to trial. I wouldn't be surprised if we will see a settlement, very much like the settlement that I reported on yesterday. It was a weekend of just lawsuits. We're talking about Nicki Minaj and Nosy Ho. That lawsuit has been settled. Go check out that video that we did. Again, mods, if we can link people to that story as well in the live chat, that would be greatly appreciated. So that is the update that we have so far, is that both of these two have filed lawsuits against each other. I'm invested at this point. I want to see how this plays out. But I always say this to you guys. I don't choose a side because, again, we don't know these people. And this is why Stormy reaching out to me, I don't want to be involved, because honestly, if we were to have a conversation, attorneys weigh in, I don't want for them to say, well, you had a conversation with Kempire and blah, 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 blah. Now we are going to subpoena him to come and testify. I don't want any involvement. So I'm not having these one-on-one conversations so you can air out your grievances or share your side of the story. Because first of all, I don't want any legal liability. If you want, like I said before, and this is exactly what you did, Stormy, you entered into the court and filed your grievances there, and I will report on that. I'm not going to just take his side. He posted his first. I ended up seeing yours afterwards. We reported on that as well. Again, everything you said in it made me kind of go, huh, maybe he was trying to take over her business. I don't know. But please do not reach out to me. And I've had other people, and it's not just her. There have been other housewives and things like that. But this is a legal situation. Do not reach out to me. I don't know why you were reaching out. It could be to tell your side or to let us know that you filed a lawsuit, but you reached out before too. So before you filed your lawsuit, I don't want to hear, because I understand that a lot of these reality TV stars, celebrities, or whatever public figures feel like the court of public opinion is more important than the actual court. In some people's heads, yes, fans will have their opinions, but at the end of the day, figure out what's going to happen in court first before you come over to the blogs and try to convince us of otherwise. I don't know what happened with you and this man. I wish you the best. I will always go back to how we originally were introduced to Stormy. You guys saw her on an episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, and you all told me, I didn't know anything about Canvas Beauty. I don't use Canvas Beauty. But you told me about her story, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. Yes, a lot of things have happened since then. She's gone through some ups and downs, but if you are an entrepreneur, some of your most favorite entrepreneurs, billionaires, have gone through losing millions to be now billionaires. So I'm not going to hold that against her, that she didn't know what she was doing when she first started. She collaborated with this guy, Kyle, and they've had success together. Will she probably have to pay him to make him go away? Probably. I don't think she should have to pay him into perpetuity. I don't think that should happen unless that's what she agreed to. But he better have proof. And if you don't have that in a contract, Kyle, I feel sorry for you. But again, this will have to all play out between the lawyers. Don't get me involved, because I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be involved in my own friend's mess. Why would I want to be involved in people I don't know's mess? And look, I get the job that I do, but I am not involved. I'm reporting on what's happening. I don't want to be involved. I don't want an attorney reaching out to me like, well, we heard that you got information. No, I don't want to be involved. I went on a real tangent, but I want to give you guys an update in regards to that situation. And I'm very transparent with you guys. Like, I didn't have to tell you about people reaching out, but I'm just letting y'all know they do. Look, they do reach out. Anyways, let's talk about this episode. This is episode 13 of season 132. I can't keep up with this. They're still filming. Sidebar, speaking of Stormy, I did see clips of Stormy talking on social media. Stormy got some work done. She got her chin done. She got liposuction. She got a lot of stuff done. All right. But she did not want to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville after being one of the producers this season. And when I say that, I'm saying that facetiously. She really wasn't a producer, but the way that she was producing scenes this season, I was like, what is going on with Stormy? So, she doesn't want to talk too much about the show. It sounds like she might not be returning after this season. So we shall see. I think she said we'll see her on a few more episodes. Maybe she's not filming with the cast right now. We did see her in this episode. Not a lot was happening with her in this particular episode. This was Melody's show. Literally, this episode was all about Melody. At the top of this, as you know, Melody is in the business of property preservation. So she talks about that and talks about how she has helped other people get into the business. 800 plus people get into this business. She FaceTimes with Sunni because Sunni is in similar business. And of course, this is just Melody producing because there was no real reason to call Sunni. She just wanted to call to be messy. And she's like, oh, I hate that you're moving here. Yes, I'm back to my Melody voice. Okay. So she's producing, she produced from beginning to end. So she calls Sunni. She's like, word on the street is that you're moving to Huntsville. Well, Sunni has been saying that she's been telling everybody that will listen that she's planning to move to Huntsville. Okay. Then we have this scene with Nell and Chris. I'm glad that we had this scene. I completely forgot. It's been like 2 weeks since we recapped Love and Marriage Huntsville because of the Olympics. But some people said that the show was getting canceled. You guys just jump on any sort of bandwagon, not realizing the show is not getting canceled. The show does well enough for OWN, but it's not getting canceled, especially not Huntsville. Huntsville is doing way better than, if Detroit's coming back, Huntsville is definitely coming back, okay? And they just released the photos for Detroit. No promises that I'll get into this season. I tried to watch and recap last season, and I just was bored. And a lot of you Detroit natives were like, we were bored too. And they are not representative of our city. Anyway, so Nell and Chris, Nell reacts to her session with Dr. Francis. She's like, why did this session become about me? Why was it about me? And it was mostly, I wanted it to be about the kids and what they were not doing. She says she's tired of the kids always asking for something. Okay. All right. So Nell and Chris talk about that. I don't want to dwell on some of these scenes because there are other scenes where there's a lot more to talk about. So we're going to go there. Kimmi hosts the group for, first of all, Kimmi, why was the group sitting at a table that it felt like you should have had a bigger room or a bigger table? It felt like claustrophobic. I felt uncomfortable for the guests. I was like, this is so uncomfortable. So they're hosting this food tasting, and they have like a local chef that, you know, that's in one of the properties that Kimmi and Maurice have. All right. So as the groups are gathering, Melody sees Marsau and Tisha, and she says, I sent my students to Black, and they said it was closed. Tisha, you said some things this episode that made me go like, I get it. You and Melody have had your issues over the years, but you both said this season that you were going to try and work on that. But you've taken so many digs, and I think because the millimeters have been on your neck forever, you hold Melody accountable for them. So she takes a dig at the millimeters here. She was just like, was it your students or was it the millimeters? And she was like, no, it was my students. Okay. Like, okay. So Marsau then ends up talking about the issues that Black has been having and why they've been closed. Apparently, they had that use tax about the Wayfair furniture and things like that, and that they didn't declare that. And Melody says they always having something when it comes to related to business that they're having issues with. She's like, I have had businesses for a while now, and I've never had that issue. I've never had that issue. And I was like, I mean, she brings up valid points. Like, she brings up valid points. But it's also about probably the relationships that you have. Like, you just never know. If Marsau is so obnoxious to his friends and family, how do we know that he's not obnoxious to people that are at the city, or the people that he interacts with, or his neighbors, or his fellow business owners? I wouldn't be surprised that he is just an obnoxious person to everyone, and not everyone, especially in business, is going to be keen to that. So we have the food tasting. Of course, the conversation leads to Destiny and why she didn't come to the event. Some people speculated that she didn't come to the event because she thought maybe Sunni might be there. Well, Kimmi explains why because Tisha's been messy this episode too. This could have been a Tisha Presents Love and Marriage Huntsville as well, because she had a lot of messy commentary. Okay. So she says that she invited Sunni and Moses to the event. And she says part of the reason why she is so open to Sunni was because Sunni was there when she was diagnosed with cancer and things like that. So she has an affinity to Sunni. But she says she doesn't agree with the way that the relationship happened, but she puts that mostly on Moses. Tisha defends Destiny and says that Sunni was more than just Destiny's producer, because the group is reacting and they're saying that Sunni has said that she was not close with Chris Fletcher was the one saying this, that Sunni said that she was just doing her job with talent. She's like, it was nothing more than that. Do I think that Sunni's downplaying her relationship with Destiny? I do. Do I think that Destiny is playing up this woe is me and victim this season so that she has a storyline and that people will feel bad for her? Yes, I do. I think both things can be true. I think that Sunni is downplaying the relationship that she had with Destiny. But also maybe Sunni is just that type of producer. All producers are not the same. Some producers are motherly and sisterly. But the way that they were saying that, like, well, Sunni was hanging out with Destiny even when filming wasn't happening. So I do think that Sunni is downplaying her relationship with Destiny because she knows what it would look like. But she probably is also thinking in her head, like, yes, we had a friendship, but it wasn't a deep friendship. It wasn't like one of my other girls. But according to Destiny, Sunni has done this before to one of her girls. Okay. So Melody says in her confessional, she finds it interesting. She says, first of all, she's not comfortable with the group talking about Sunni and Moses, and they're not there. But she says she finds it interesting with the things that Kimmi is saying, because she's like, I thought you liked this girl. I thought you were just having, lunch with this girl. It's a foreshadowing of what I did not expect Melody to do at the end of this episode. I was washing dishes and I was like, what? I was like, oh, Melody is Scorpio? That Scorpio stinger is out. So, and I always tell you guys, and this is not just about Real Housewives, reality TV, period. A lot of times of what they're arguing about or what they're fighting about on the show isn't even about that. It's about the show or about something that they can't discuss on the show. So it makes me wonder, what we know that the relationship between the core three relationships is not what it used to be. I don't know if it ever was really that deep. It had to be. They had businesses together. But it's not what it used to be. I don't feel like Melody is as cool with Tisha, well, definitely not Tisha, or Kimmi like that. I think when Kimmi was diagnosed, yes, people showed up for her. But I don't think that they are tight like that. But when you watch this episode and you see what Kimmi has said about the man that cheated on her and had a baby on her, like, he's a nice guy. I can see why Melody might not see it for you as a friend. Put yourself in that situation. No matter how you feel about Melody, if you put yourself in that situation, how would you feel if someone that you once had a business with, someone that you considered a friend, maybe a sister, said stuff like that. And I know they've moved past that. She said that a long time ago. But sometimes, especially for a Scorpio, you know, we talk astrological signs here, it doesn't go away. Like, it's always going to be there for them. Like, oh, you showed me who you are, and I'm never going to forget that. But are we surprised with some of the things and antics that Maurice has shown in the last couple of seasons that Kimmi has put up with? We're not surprised that Kimmi is going to root for these toxic men, which is sad because I have to say, Kimmi, you were always one of my favorites on the show, but you've shown a pattern of behavior in the last couple of seasons that made me look at you like, and even when you were going through your cancer battle, just sort of making excuses for Maurice during that time. And I get it, whatever that is whatever you had to deal with in growing up. But that doesn't mean that your friends have to deal with that when it comes to their relationships or how they interact with you. So Melody makes that commentary during her confessional about how Kimmi, you know, Kimmi's talking about Sunni like this, like she wasn't just hanging out with her. All right. But like I said, Tisha defends Destiny and says that Sunni was more than just Destiny's producer. Okay. I find Tisha and Destiny's relationship interesting. And it goes back to what people have said about housewives and alliances. Carlos has said this before about alliances. Destiny and Tisha's relationship feels more like an alliance than it does an actual friendship. Because I don't see them having anything in common. Look, we don't know them from a can of paint. But based on what we've seen on the show, I don't see these folks as real friends. I can see Kimmi and Destiny having a friendship. Tisha and Destiny, it feels more like an alliance against Melody, to be honest. And I'm sure Melody probably feels that way too. Guys, if you're just joining us, this is our weekly recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. And if you're listening to the audio version of this on the Kempire podcast, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and let us know what you love about the podcast. I'm trying to get now, because we hit our goal on Apple Podcasts. We haven't hit our goal on Spotify, so let's get to 500 reviews there. But let's get to 1,000 reviews on Apple Podcasts. We have 1,000 of you guys watching our reviews, watching our videos, and listening to the podcast. To be honest with you, we have over hundreds and hundreds of thousands of downloads a month on the podcast. So I know you guys are listening. So be sure to give us a review, a 5-star review. I'm not asking. Maybe that's why you haven't reviewed. You're listening but hating from outside the club. Okay. But if you haven't already, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. All right. So more happens at this dinner. It leads to Tricia and Kenny being in the spotlight, and Marsau talking about his conversation with Tricia's, I was gonna say ex-husband, but no, I saw that. I didn't watch it though, so I don't know what came of it. I did hear about Kenny and Tricia had an argument, so I guess Kenny has had it up to here with Tricia and her sister. You've been on my mind, oh sister. We're two of a kind. Sorry, look. It's been 2 weeks. Okay. Well, apparently they had a fight, and I don't blame Kenny. I don't blame Kenny. I don't know what the gist of the fight was, but apparently he left for a couple of days. So they talk. Marsau talked about his conversation with Marquez, and he says that, well, according to Marquez, you guys had a pre-relationship. So now we examine the timeline of Kenny and Tricia's relationship. Basically, they've known each other since like 2014, 2015, but they only knew each other on social media. They never hung out. And anytime that Marquez came back into her life, they didn't talk. But they didn't start a relationship until like 2 years ago. Do you believe them? Look, I believe them. I don't believe that there was anything like inappropriate. Maybe obviously Kenny did find her attractive, but I don't believe that's in them. I really don't. I do find it interesting. Melody starts defending Tricia and Kenny. Here goes Tisha with this very snarky comment. Again, I don't know what Melody has said, but from what we've seen on the show this season, Melody has not come for Tisha. So Tisha, when Marsau said, I find it interesting that Melody's defending a married couple talking to the opposite sex. And then we have Tisha make a comment about, well, maybe Martell was right about her having conversations while they were in a relationship. How do you think, Tisha, you guys are going to move forward when you make a snarky comment like that? Especially when you guys probably know more than even us that know the court stuff, that know what's played out on the show. You guys know even more. And you say a snarky comment like that. From what I've seen this season, I can't remember every single detail. I haven't seen Melody really come for Tisha. She may have come for Marsau, but he comes for her too. So her making a snarky comment like that, basically confirming the toxic, abusive things that Martell has said about Melody during their relationship while not taking accountability. Notice we didn't get any Martell this week. Thank you. I don't know how you expect them to move forward. And honestly, I hope that Melody gives you the stinger at the reunion, because like you all agreed that you were going to move forward and try and work on your relationship, but it seems like only one person's working on the relationship. And there have been times that we've said Melody is, she's been sneaky, she's producing from the side, she's bringing people on to come for Tisha. We can all believe those things, but it seemed as if, okay, we're going to put that to the side and we're going to work on our relationship this season. But it seems like only one person is working on the relationship. You even admitted that at the top of the season. But you said you were going to try and do better. So I felt like, and that's the thing. It's one thing to have a shady comment. I felt like that comment wasn't just shady. I felt like it was pointed. I felt it was malicious, especially because we know how malicious Martell has been on the blogs and to Melody in regards to accusing her of being unfaithful in their relationship when he has been the most unfaithful in their relationship. Okay. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Even if you're a Melody fan, if you're a Melometer, if you're not a Melody fan, like, you just have to, this is why I say it's so great not to be team anyone, because you can see when Melody's being messy, because she was messy in this episode, and you can see when Tisha's being messy, because if you're not team anyone, you could be here, there, and everywhere. That's why I always tell you guys, be team you. You don't know these people. Okay? All right. Moving on. I'm still working on my lighting in here, y'all. I'm still working on the setup. I still have to put stuff up on the wall. I don't know what's going on in the studio. I don't know how I want the studio to even look, but I have to first figure out the proper lighting. I know the lighting has gotten a little bit better, but it's not what I need it to be. And I also, the studio is not the way I want it to be. So I'm figuring it out. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to put things and do things. So, we've got things going. Yes, and I do have a tool chest back here. But let me tell you something. If you go, this is how you know I watch tech YouTubers. Shout out to the tech YouTubers. A bunch of us have this because it's fantastic for storing equipment. Like, I'm so grateful that I even got it, because I really was just, if you've been watching the channel a long time, I used to have like the buffet table cabinets behind me for a long time, and I like them, but I use them for storage. They're not that equipped for like storage. These are drawers that are holding my wires, my equipment, my camera equipment. Like, it's perfect. It's heavy as hell though, and it takes up a lot of space. But we will be strong, because it might not always be here. I can probably move it to another location. It's just heavy. But I know you guys had your comments like, what is that behind you? Don't you worry about it, because once I raise the camera up, you won't even see it. Anyways, I say all that to say, moving on. You didn't come here for that. You came here to find these other stuff. All right, so we find out more about Kenny and Tricia's timeline in the relationship. The timeline was interesting. Like I said, I don't know if I believe that these two cheated. I definitely don't think they physically cheated. Did they emotionally cheat? Possible, because not everyone might deem their conversations appropriate for people that are in relationships. Because remember, he was in a relationship too. He wasn't married, but he was in a relationship. All right. So Melody, at the end of this, at the top of this, she had told Kimmi that she wanted to announce something to the group. So she announced that she wants to take the group to St. Thomas. And the preview for St. Thomas looks good. I never look forward to Love and Marriage Huntsville, but the preview for St. Thomas looks good. And maybe because Melody's hosting it. Honestly, she knows how to make entertaining television. Because some of these folks, if we had to rely on them to carry the show, oh. But based off the preview is previewing. Wait, so if it's Melody's trip, that means, well, the husbands weren't invited. So, and I did find it funny when Marsau says, I can go, I'm a bitch. Marsau, though, is also good reality television. He's annoying sometimes, and he could definitely be better, but he's also interesting reality television. All right, so she invites everyone on the trip, and already Tisha's like, can I invite a +1? I already knew she wanted to invite Destiny. She didn't tell them who she was planning to invite, but I already knew she wanted to invite Destiny. That's just her producing. They want to be able to bring Destiny along, so she'll be her +1. Speaking of Destiny, so Kimmi, Tisha, and Destiny meet up, and Destiny explains that she didn't go to the tasting because she was on an out-of-town date. She really likes to date out-of-towners. Sidebar, we didn't talk about Destiny's illegal situation. Honestly, I am not fully versed on it, but wasn't she found guilty in whatever the situation was? Was that involving LeBarrick, the chicken man, her ex-husband? I have no full details on that. I've been so caught up on the Stormy stuff. And honestly, I don't know if Destiny's going to even come back next season. So, I mean, she might be locked up. I kid. Anyways, so Destiny says she was out of town. So that's why she says no. She's not going to let Sunni and Moses dictate where she's going to be. All right. So Kimmi admits that she went on a double date with Sunni and Moses. So Destiny's like, huh. But Kimmi wants to make it clear, very much like what Martell was saying, that he's Team Destiny no matter what. She's like, if this goes to the left, we are all Team Destiny. Not us. Right, audience? Like, not us. We're not Team Destiny. If this goes to the left, we're not Team anyone but us. But I'm Team who's going to make good television. So far, neither one. Sunni and Moses don't make good television, and Destiny doesn't make good television. This love triangle, I'm already bored with it. Anyone else? Aren't you bored with it right now? It's like, okay, we're talking about the same thing every single week. We're talking about, Sunni and Destiny were definitely closer. Moses didn't clear up the situation before he ended things with Destiny. Okay, all right. Destiny's like, I'm the victim. Feel sorry for me. And I probably would feel sorry for you, but there's just the way you're playing this that just makes it feel not the same. Look, not the same. So they also talk about the other story about Tricia and Martell and what's going on over there. They talk about how Stormy was talking about possibility that Tricia went over to Martell's house. We're not sure what went down between them. I don't believe anything happened between them, to be honest with you. Tricia was not 100% honest. Excuse me. She was not 100% honest with the group. I don't think she has to be, but she obviously did not tell Kenny, and she was telling Kenny on camera. I felt that was weird, and I wonder if that is part of what has led to some of their issues in their relationship right now. They haven't filmed the reunion yet, so that should be interesting. They're still filming episodes. How long is the season going to be? We do not need a season of 20-something episodes of Love and Marriage Huntsville. These folks are not that interesting. At least not to me. Look, at least not to me. So Tisha finally at the end of the scene invites Destiny on the girls' trip. She explains that she asked Melody for a +1. Kimmy's like, did you tell Melody that you're inviting Destiny? She's like, she didn't tell me this other single women she's inviting. It's her trip. She didn't have to tell you. I think you would... Honestly, when you think about it, though, I get it. They're doing it to produce a scene. Destiny's a part of the season, so they want to bring her on. But if this was like a real-life situation, that would be foul. Destiny and Melody do not get along. They don't see it for each other. She's good friends with her ex-husband that she's not in a great place with. She probably wouldn't want Destiny to be on a girls' trip with her. So that is pretty messy of Tisha. So this is why I said Tisha was pretty messy in this episode as well. All right. Let's talk about Melody and Sunni go shopping for this trip. So Melody gives Sunni a heads up, like, yeah, this is what people have been saying about you. They do not see it for you. I don't want you to be uncomfortable, so I want to let you know what people are saying and what people are doing. I don't know if you're going to feel comfortable going. But Melody also throws Kimmi under the bus. She's like, I found it to be interesting because Kimmi was, 1 minute she was defending you and saying you were there for her, but then when everyone was laying on you, she decided to jump with them as well. And Sunni was like, oh. Look, do I think that Sunni should be mad at Kimmi? No, because there really is no friendship there like that. And I also don't think that Kimmi was being incredibly malicious. I think Kimmi laid it out like, Sunni was very lovely to me when I was going through my cancer. But at the same time, I don't agree with the way that this all went down. More specifically with Moses. But the fact that Melody brought it up, I was at the kitchen counter. I said, Melody, what is going on right now? You are being extra messy. So she says that. What else did they talk about in this scene? I mean, for me, that was the thing that stood out. I mean, they were trying on different bathing suits and things like that. I don't know what the hell Sunni was trying on. I was like, Sunni, where are you going? What else did she talk about? Did she talk about anything else? I'm trying to remember everything. I didn't write everything yet because, as I said to you, I was at the sink washing dishes, trying to do that and prepare for this recap. Anyways, but basically the scene was Melody producing again and telling Sunni that the group doesn't like you. The group is going to be coming for you on this trip. Not sure if you want to still come. Obviously, Melody doesn't know that Destiny's coming on this trip. They will find out when they get there. And then she throws Kimmi under the bus. Oh, now I remember. I'm glad I remember this because the receipts were receding. Because Melody found it hypocritical, specifically with Kimmi, that she would defend the Destiny situation, and she wouldn't have an issue with the whole Sunni and Moses situation. Not that she wouldn't have an issue, but how she made excuses for Martell back in the day. And, he's such a good guy, and, I'm not going to call the other woman a side chick. And the receipts were receding, and Kimmi's like, I'm not going to take that back in one of the old scenes. And I was just like, I get where Melody's coming from and why she might feel a way about it, because she's like, you guys felt this particular way with Martell, and now you feel this way with Destiny. And she's probably thinking, like, you guys known Destiny the last couple of years. You've known me for well over a decade. From what I can tell. Yeah, well over a decade, I'm sure, at this particular point. So she's feeling a type of way. But remember, she foreshadowed that she was feeling a type of way with these friendships earlier in the season when she had that girls' night with her other friends who we're going to see on this trip. So she was already feeling a way and saying that she's going to draw a line in the sand. Like, you need to figure out who you're aligning yourself with versus acting as if you can be friends with him and be friends with me. I mean, look, I'm not in that situation, so I don't know how I would feel. But I do believe that this toxic situation that Melody and Martell are in, you do have to kind of really pick a side, because I just can't imagine defending Martell in any shape or form. I don't know how he is as a parent. I don't know how he is as a friend, but I can't imagine how he could be anything loyal. If he can't be loyal to his wife and someone he's been with over 15 years, I can't imagine him being a loyal or trustworthy friend or even business partner, to be honest. I just can't imagine it. Sidebar. At the top of the episode, I thought to myself, Melody is mentoring these folks to do this business. I was like, you know who needs a mentorship? Her ex. And the thing is, she's probably thinking to herself, I did mentor him. He just didn't take. And that's the thing. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And I'm sure there are plenty of people that she's mentored that you give them all the tools and they do nothing with it. Martell's a clear example of that. So we get to see a preview of next week's episode, which does look really interesting and really juicy. with this girl's trip to St. Thomas. I'm happy that they're doing better trips than damn Real Housewives of Potomac, and they have a bigger budget. Just saying. So I'm looking forward to. I'm actually looking forward to next week's episode. Maybe I always say that, and then Saturday comes around, and I'm like, oh God, I gotta watch this episode again. But then I watched the episode, and I was actually interested. How would I rate this week's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville? I mean, because it was a Melody Cherie Rogers production, I'm going to give it an 8. I thought it was solid. And I thought she was extra messy. And normally would I like someone being this messy? I don't mind it because I feel like she's getting her clap back. I think she's getting her get back at all the people that have come for her and that didn't have her back. I'm just saying. Look. And you know, I've had my times with Melody, and I was like, Melody, I see what you're doing here. But literally, even in this episode, I was like, Melody, I see what you're doing here. You threw Kimmi under the bus, but when they showed the receipts of what Kimmi has said in the past, I said to myself, I was like, well, if someone did that to me, and they said that they were my friend, and then they doubled down on it, saying, I'm not going to take it back, what I said, I might feel the way that she feels. What about you guys? Have you liked the video yet? It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Other channels that talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville will start to pop up on your Explorer page. But not only that, other pages that, like we do here, that talk about everything in pop culture will start to pop up. I still have to watch the Braxtons. Not that I haven't been watching, I still want to do like a separate live talking about Love is Blind UK and Big Brother. I am watching both. Literally, I am watching both. So maybe at some point I will get to that this week. I want to definitely talk about the Braxtons, but if you missed it, we did do a premiere episode recap with callers on the Braxtons. So stay tuned for that. No confirmation that we will do live call-ins for those other shows, just because time. I don't know if I'll have the time to do it. All right. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Oh gosh, where did the weekend go? And again, I will be doing a special. I have a lot of ideas, but I probably will do a special episode recapping The Wiz. I got to see it. So many of you said you need to go see it before it's off of Broadway. Today is the last day. If you're seeing this in time, I think the next showing is at 3 p.m. I don't know if there will be tickets available, but I was so glad that I went to see it on Saturday. It was fantastic, fantastic. You guys were not just pushing smoke up my you-know-what. It really was good. It was good from beginning to end. Funny, great singing, great dancing, great graphics. Candy, Todd, y'all did that. Anyways, all right, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed our recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Again, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget you can hear an audio version on the Kempire podcast. And don't forget our friends over at Rose Forever sponsoring today's live recap. Our referral link for Rose Forever will be available in the description. Go get yourself something. It's the end of the summer. Maybe you moved as well, or maybe you need to brighten someone's day. This is a nice way of doing it and affordable. More information on Rose Forever is available in the description, along with every way that you can support our channel is there as well. All right, the road to 500,000 subscribers begins. We're at, 440,000? It's been a little slow the last few weeks, but also content has been a little slow because, I've been touring, traveling, and London, UK. Stay tuned. I hope to have some information this week for you in regards to our Kempire After Dark live experience. I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get out of here.
Oh my, you got that hotter than a summertime in July. Time magic, and I got to have it. I got to say it again. Oh my, you got that hotter than a summertime in July. Time magic, and I got to have it. Ooh, baby, you're my sugar dripping, chocolate covered waffle cone. No, I can't leave that boy alone. Need a taste up in the morning. You got a girl just jonesing. Need a fix from my favorite type of candy store. Got got me shaking, going out of control. Let me have a little something. You know I'm hooked up on that loving. Let's rock, roll, escape. Let the stress just slide away. Oh baby, no, don't ever let me go. No, don't ever let me go. Champagne, let's celebrate. Let that old school record play. Oh baby, no, don't ever let me go. No, don't ever let me go. Oh my, you got that hotter than the summertime in July. Time magic, and I got to have it. I got to say it again. Oh my, you got that hotter than the summertime in July. Time magic, and I got to have it. Ooh, baby, you got me feeling like I'm overheating in the shade. There's a rise up in the centigrade. Need a taste to keep me going. You know you keep a girl jonesing. I need a hit, keep it coming, ain't no antidote. One kiss, that's all she wrote. I'm an addict, I confess it. Ooh, this love is a blessing. So let's rock, roll, escape. Let the stress just slide away. Oh baby, no, don't ever let me go. No, don't ever let me go. Champagne, let's celebrate. Let that old school record play. Oh baby, no, don't ever let me go. No, don't ever let me go. Oh my, you got that hotter than the summertime in July. Time magic, and I got to have it. I got to say it again. Oh my, you got that hotter than the summertime in July. Time magic, and I got to have it. Oh baby, oh my, you got that hotter than the summertime in July. Time magic, and I got to have it. I got to say it again. Oh my, you got that hotter than the summertime in July. Time magic, and I got to have it. I got to have it, baby. I got to have it, love. Oh, I got to say it again. I got to have it, love.
Here we go now.